Right, are we all settled?
Yes, we're all very comfortable.
Well done.
Hang on, sorry, this is very important. It's my ghost monument.
Take a loud sip, please.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, they'll enjoy that at home.
There we go. You finished?
Hello.
Hello and welcome to FiveWhoFans. I'm John Gransden.
I'm Billy Treacy.
I'm Phoenix Smith.
And I'm Daniel Sherratt.
And we're here to talk about Doctor Who, The Ghost Monument. That just finished 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we haven't talked about it yet.
Mm-hmm.
No, we
We
haven't.
watched it in stony silence.
My immediate thoughts are that I really like the new title sequence,
Mhm.
and I really love the new TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
As for the episode itself, there are a couple of times where I felt it was a little bit confused visually, where I felt like it would have been nice for the cameras to pull out a little bit.
Very tight close-ups.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of close-ups now, 2 episodes in a row.
Mm.
The thing I would say, I don't know if it's confused visually. I wonder if it's more...
I just wasn't sure what...
The
what
writing is a little bit too telly. So it's not actually... Instead of show, don't tell, we're actually being told and then shown, if that makes sense. So someone will say, there's something over there, and then we'll see that thing over there.
I did notice the Doctor was kind of saying everything they were doing. So
Yes.
like, get behind the pillar. That's where the fire's... I don't like. They could have just done it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
I was hoping to find out a little bit more about Yaz, because the last episode was very much sort of Ryan's episode, and obviously because of Graham's close association with him, we know more about him as well.
Had, if anything, less focus in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much like people are talking pretty much only exclusively about the plot itself. We had a little bit of time with Ryan talking about struggling with ladders.
Well, yeah, we had that. We
had a bit with Graham.
That was a catch up from last week. Also, Graham saying we need to talk more about this,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. The Yaz scene was the most awkward because she just goes, "Wow, you're making me miss my family, and my dad hates me, and my sister wants me to move out so she can have my bedroom, and I only saw them yesterday."
And people don't really talk like that.
That was,
So
that was the most inhuman thing
Yeah.
was written in a while.
So I was surprised to hear that from Chris. John, what did you think?
I think it was a pretty straightforward plot.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like the premise. I quite like the 2 characters we had. I was worried that what was the guy's name?
Not sure.
Espo?
Oh,
Epson?
is that, yeah, that's one of the...
Epson, isn't that a printer?
Yeah, it's an Epson Princeton film. I was worried he was going to be like just a kind of typical Doctor Who dick, who would then at the end decide to give his life.
Mm.
To save everyone, and instead, actually, there was a nice moment at the end where it's more about compromise, and the 2 of them take that step together. Although I thought that was kind of obvious that they wouldn't do that anyway. It felt like, well, if you meet there at the same time, just take it together.
Yeah, either that or one of them's going to die.
Or one of them was going to die. I'm glad neither of them died. Less death this episode. The last scene was great. From when you could start hearing the top.
A really long shot of her going towards the top.
TARDIS. Beautiful.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
also the shot when you see the TARDIS wide for the first time reminds me of the...
Oh, it's from the poster.
Yeah, from the poster.
Yeah,
Yes.
from the logo reveal poster, which is over there now because it fell off the wall in the week.
Yeah, it's not because we hate Doctor Who now. It's
Taking
literally
it down.
it punished us for talking about Venom.
Yeah, but the thing I would say as well is that just before that moment, before the TARDIS starts, there's a great moment where the Doctor doubts herself, and now her team have taken on board her enthusiasm and her kind of constant strive to be positive, and they're now relaying it back. So there's like a support, like they feel like nice supportive people. I don't know if the episode totally earned that relationship, but when it's there, it's written very well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You can see it from Graham.
Yeah, Graham says a lovely piece there about, who says we're not going to survive the night, Interesting stuff about the bad guy from episode 1, that species is responsible for the bad stuff in the universe. Do we have a series baddie?
I forgot about that.
And is it the Tenzar or whatever they were called?
Stenza. I hope if so we get more on them, because I don't mind having an overarching villain, and it's quite interesting how they're doing it, but they don't seem like, just from that one guy, it didn't seem warranted.
Yeah.
Like he's not interesting enough to warrant.
No.
Yeah, he was just a cheater.
All this focus.
Yeah.
I hope if they are the arc, we maybe see more of them. There's some more interesting.
And
Hopefully the species itself is more interesting
than just the one
than
guy.
just that
Yeah.
one guy. Hopefully not specifically Tim Shaw isn't the villain.
Yeah.
Tim's back!
I
There's
mean,
more teeth every time.
given the fact that there are like millions of years in the future and halfway across the galaxy, you could make the argument that after he was pushed off the crane and teleported back to his own planet, he defused the bombs and then kind of pushed his race into the chase of tracking down the TARDIS and the Doctor. Might be the plot.
But I feel like we're definitely going to see more of them now, because...
The other thing I wanted to talk about was the moment where the ribbons, beautifully realised ribbons, the visual effects on them were pretty strong.
Yeah.
But they're talking about the Doctor and the timeless child, and a secret that the Doctor's hidden from herself.
It really reminded me of kind of series 1 stuff, where the
Yeah.
villains would say these kind of cryptic things like, "Oh, you can't be a Time Lord."
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I liked was how it was very straightforward again. I think it got muddled in the middle. I think there was a little bit too much dialogue over action in places. But overall, I still really like the feel of it, and I like the cast a lot. And I like the characters. I'm really warming to them all. I want to just see more Yaz, please.
Yaz.
I don't know.
Yaz Queen.
Yaz Queen. I mean, I don't know how much time there will be to explore Yaz in an episode about Rosa Parks next week.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see!
Also, like, the awkward family was definitely set up for when we see them.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like, by the way, I have a family.
By the way, I have a family and
Coming
we
soon.
don't get along. Ooh, stay tuned.
So I actually really liked the pace of the episode. I thought it had a really good kind of rise and fall of action, and I like the kind of chase race format, because I think it pulls it through. It felt a bit like more high energy than the last episode, maybe.
Okay.
Kind of zipping through stuff, and there were a lot of like questions and answers. I think it was still mostly questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
From the companions.
Yeah.
I like the focus on teamwork and support, and that like mirrored in the two guest characters, because I feel like they had to be a team at the same time as the regular characters had to be a team.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. It's again really nice to see a really nice Doctor.
Yes.
Yes. Who's just sort of nice to everyone.
Compare this to Into the Dalek.
And apologetic and stuff like that.
Infallible.
Fallible and like
Yeah.
apologetic. That's really nice. And I noticed this in the last one, but sort of the vanity and the hierarchy is gone. I feel a bit.
She said she was clever this week.
Yeah.
But she is.
That's just true.
It's just true. The Doctor is just a clever person.
Yeah.
But that's the first glimpse of cockiness that we've seen.
Yeah, but the rest of it she lacks entirely,
Yeah.
and I love it. She's so...
And
yeah.
helping trying to help Ryan up the ladder.
Yeah.
Is really nice.
Yeah.
Because it seems like she really wants to help them. She's not just using them as worker drones.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I've got a couple of spares this time around.
It's alright if you fall, Ryan. I've got 2 others in the back.
Again, with Ryan and Graham, there's a scene where they're trying to get the boat to work.
Yes.
She kind of utilises them.
Yeah.
But in a nice way, and then, yeah.
Yeah, and some nice family stuff as well. I feel like the key word of this episode was family. You have a lot of these kind of scene breaks where Ryan is then woken up by Graham, which I feel like is a kind of dad symbolism.
Yeah.
Definitely. And they had both the new characters, the most backstory we got was their families. So the guy was a bit of a dick, had bad parents.
Very bad parenting from his mother.
Yeah.
But it helps inform him as a character. He's not just like
He's not
a
just
bit of
cynical.
he's not
Yeah.
just a douche. He's
Yeah.
just like you can see exactly how he's come to be how he is.
That's just his philosophy, and even like the child of time is interesting because it kind of sets the Doctor as a child almost. So the kind of family stuff I really liked, and I like that it had a nice resolution. Basically, it didn't. Maybe it felt like the episode was less important because of it, but some people might say. But I don't think that. I thought it was like a really nice wrap up. Especially given the theme, so it's kind of all the teams have come together.
First episode took me a lot longer. I feel like this time I enjoyed it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because I'm now used to the tone from episode 1, whereas as we said in episode 1, bit of a whiplash effect.
For us especially.
Yeah, it's like, what? Whereas this is like, I'm really enjoying this. And like right from the get-go as well. And I quite like the action as well. In like when the ship's coming down.
Oh my god,
But some of those scenes at the
It
beginning.
went right in there as well.
It starts just so quick, which is really nice. I think the scenes in the boat I enjoyed, but I think the whole like backstory of the two other characters could have been spread out a bit. It just was like we had what happened with him, and then she says about her straight after. I think maybe he should have had his moment. Then we should have gone along, maybe had that action scene with the robot people. Yeah. Then when they got under the base, and she could have had a talk. I think it was too much like they bulked.
It's all compressed into that one scene, really,
bulked,
isn't it?
Their backstories in one, and then obviously Yaz has her bit, and Graham's had their bit just before.
Yeah.
It's like they bulked all those scenes, just like put them all in that one bit. Whereas I probably would have maybe moved a couple of them to the bit when they're under the sort of base. Maybe just have a few moments, just because that guy goes to have a sleep, so it's like could have just had like them talking to the female other character, and had a bit of backstory. So I would have probably spread that out a bit more.
Kind of,
But I mean, those ribbon things I think are pretty cool. I slightly wish we had a bit more of them, more than the robots. I think the robots were just
generic.
Those were the most generic
it's
robots.
It's fine to have them, I guess, but although it's the thing of could you just have the ribbons instead of the robot?
Well, they served also a moment to weaken the guy because he got shot as well. So then he needs a nap. But then also it helps the Doctor and her message of we've gone to bad.
I like
the
it.
bit with Ryan running out with the gun.
Call of Duty!
I like the bit where it goes into like POV Call of Duty, like actual vision.
Yeah, we were laughing at that bit.
I'm surprised the Doctor actually let him go out there and do that.
Yeah, because
I actually just wanted him to learn his lesson.
He could have just gotten out there and just gotten shot straight away. Well, I've got two more.
They seemed a bit slow, the robots. I don't know. They didn't seem quite as threatening as they should have been.
I felt that the ribbons were more interesting.
Yes.
So it was a bit like I wanted just to see more. And like you said, when they were sort of whispering to each other and the face sort of formed, and their demise is quite cool. I slightly wish we had more of it so that demise was a bit more like.
Well, that was well set up with the gas and
that was a good kind of Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. I was like, what's that going to be? How's he going to?
I like the variety of like the different death traps.
Yeah.
I think especially got home the kind of the planet's basically a factory for weapons.
Yeah.
So it was good to have a variety of different stuff in there.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there. When I was watching the trailers, I didn't realise all of that was in that one episode.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. There's so many different like places and scenes. So it's nice to see. Yeah.
How busy Doctor Who is.
Yeah.
And it feels like we've been on a journey by the end of that.
Definitely by the end of it.
That was what was nice about it. It felt like kind of classic adventure film almost.
Yeah.
Like kind of Indiana Jones or something. It was very like travel through, and having the different stuff helped that because it felt like the different stops on like old timey treasure map, like through the quicksand and then the
robot man.
Over the lake.
Yeah. And having all that different stuff made it feel like that stepped adventure rather than just one thing.
Yeah.
But also what's great is that it's weird to think that episode was 50 minutes long because it feels like so much happened, but at the same time it didn't. I didn't feel at all that it was rushed. I didn't feel like the ending was rushed. I didn't feel
That's
like
what I was saying about the pacing. It felt really natural to me.
Yeah.
Like maybe that, like you say, the boat scene was a bit too long, but apart from like they were still saying interesting things. So
I don't think, and I think those things that they say are absolutely important. I just think they should have moved them a little bit out a little bit more, just so it wasn't all clumped together.
Yeah. That's almost the least rushed I've felt a Doctor Who has been for a while.
Yeah.
Like, the last one was quite slow paced as well, but some bits of the last one felt slightly rushed, even given the long runtime. But that one felt really comfortable in its runtime and its pace, which I thought was really nice.
And it just has the right amount of sort of hooks sort of throughout, sort of the engaging sort of action, and then you've got your sort of.
That was interesting because with so many different things going on, you'd think you might get a bit of whiplash from it, but I really didn't, which was surprising.
You just got to invest in the world, isn't it? And and you said it earlier in the day, the fact that the title sequence, you like it when Doctor Who
straight in,
and especially with this title sequence.
Yes.
Which is so
start on the black.
On the black with this ball, and then it explodes into you, and you're pulled into the world of Doctor Who.
Yes, I love. I think the title sequence should always be at the beginning, rather than pre-titles. I really like that about Classic Who because I feel like the whole point of the title sequence is it's like a doorway into Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So I think that should be at the beginning because it pulls you in. And this one especially works at that because it's like the black and it literally is like a doorway almost, like opening into it.
And getting swallowed up by
it's like you're consumed by Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I've not seen anything like that for a long time. It was really weird, but in a great way.
The title sequence.
Yeah.
It's otherworldly.
The
it's
way
like it should be.
It has sort of hints of a lot of previous stuff, but it's also very different.
Yeah.
The starting on black feels a lot like William Hartnell, where it starts on black and the kind of one line streaks up and then opens out.
Yeah.
And then it sort of turns into perhaps a kind of John Pertwee like mirrored stuff.
Yeah.
And we go into that and there's the bit of the stars going past.
Yeah.
Which is
80s,
sort of 80s.
I need to watch it again.
Yeah,
let's put it on again.
I loved the logo animation. I've been worried about that for a while.
Yeah.
Just because
it wasn't stacked.
But
and this is the first time we've seen the logo in the television show.
Yes.
We'd think episode 2 would be the one they bring it out for, but there you go.
They will
I think it's worth the wait. It feels like properly.
It was a lovely little.
I oddly really like that the TARDIS isn't in the titles.
I wonder if it'll turn up for episode 3 now.
I don't know. I'm gonna say a lot about how I like it isn't in there, and it's gonna be in there next week.
It's alright, you won't be here next week, Phoenix.
I never have to face the consequences. I like it because it's more non-diegetic. Because when the TARDIS is in there, it feels like, yes, this is what the time vortex looks like within the show.
Yeah.
Which is why for the Capaldi titles it was a bit odd. So it doesn't look like clocks in the show.
Because even weirder is the end of the title sequence is totally motion graphics for the Capaldi one, where you've got the Gallifreyan text spinning around and warping stuff.
Like that's
and
not
the planets.
what it looks like within the narrative.
But then they show it in the show like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, don't do that. So yeah, you're right.
The time vortex has giant credits flying. Oh, who's David Tennant?
Yeah, it was lovely, and that the way the theme worked in that title sequence.
The what was like a bass drop or something?
Yeah, when it fans out.
It's very arresting. Like if you're doing something else,
You're gonna
stop
and watch.
Yeah, if you're like, oh, country fellas, I don't know, just whoa.
I want to see that opening credits sequence at a cinema.
Yeah, it'd be beautiful.
So we talk about the TARDIS.
Yes.
The TARDIS.
What did we think of the inside of the TARDIS?
Dan.
Me.
Hot seat.
I was still unsure if we were going to see it. I was part of me like, oh no, it's not going to appear, or she's going to step through.
I could feel my heart beating.
Honestly, I started to get I felt like I just stopped breathing. As soon as I started hearing the noise of the TARDIS, I was like, and then I was thinking, is she going to open the door and it's going to cut to black?
Don't do it.
No.
They could have done that. They could have done it.
Yeah.
They could have done it, but I'm so glad they didn't. And it's just one continuous shot of just I'm just like looking at everything. It's just moving through it. It's lovely.
It's got a lot more height than our previous TARDIS, which is weird considering we've had two TARDISes which are full 360 things. It just feels like it goes up.
It's funny how it looks bigger. I guess because the Capaldi and later Smith one, a lot of its size was in its levels, up and like the other levels. But this one just has a kind of flat floor, so it just feels...
It's got like a couple of steps, but beyond that, there's no like extra kind of...
I like the little lights on the floor of the TARDIS that lead you to the console.
Yeah, like here it is.
Yeah.
In case
you get lost.
I love the sort of also of the wall bits, how they have layers and it looks like it could just go on. You could take one turn, you go that way and go that way. And
it was interesting. I part of me thinks it might be visual effects in the background of some shots there. There's stuff on the walls. It's like the TARDIS is animating back there. It looked great. I don't have a complaint about that. I love what's on the console. You have a little...
It has a little police
It's got a little TARDIS! It's got like a glass 3D printed TARDIS! You spin it and away it goes. That's wonderful. And it gives her a custard cream.
Yeah.
That's so TARDIS.
None of those buttons control the flight.
All what she did there was to give her a custard cream.
Yeah.
That's it.
She was there for quite a while trying to work out how to take off, because all the buttons just give her food.
Different biscuits.
Oh, I love it. I love the kind of lunacy of that. Like the egg timer as well. Like what?
Oh yeah.
How are you going to measure time travel with that? It's great. I'd love to see it in a future episode where you cut to it and it's going backwards or something.
Yeah.
You could do some cool visuals with it.
I did love how they had the little thing of the TARDIS opening for her. Because it sort of reminds people, especially new audiences, that it is
alive,
sentient somewhat.
There's it's beautiful her talking to her, like, please land, I need you. What is it? Daddy's proud or something? Oh, no way.
Come to daddy.
Come to daddy. Whatever. And then, she's just kind of at the door and she's like... And finally, I don't know why he never did it, Moffat, who loved using the line constantly, it's finally been...
Yeah, I'm so glad they did the inverse.
Yes.
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
They've spent years doing callbacks to that line. They've never reversed it.
And
I've been like...
It's a brilliant opportunity to do it and bring people in, and they did it perfectly.
It immediately highlights as well that her doctor is really positive.
Yeah.
Because it's like, she's the first one that hasn't used the quote to grumble.
Oh, see, he's redecorated.
I really like it.
I really like it. Wonderful. Music continued to be good.
Oh, very interesting ones.
Yeah.
It's so like part of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel just like, oh, there's a piece of music there, but just sometimes you just sort of
like a marching
think about
band following.
Yeah.
What it usually feels
it's
like.
more a goal with a trombone.
It's much more like it's integral to the piece.
But it's sort of like it's more once almost the episode's finished, then you're thinking about that was really good. Whereas at the time, it just
it washes over
the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It just makes it.
The music is much more atmospheric and feels, like you say, it feels. It's not diegetic. There is a word, but I can't think of it right now. But it's like it just feels natural.
It just
it just feels like part
It's
of.
much less like memey as
Yeah.
well. Like Morigo was sometimes kind of memey. Like I Am the Doctor plays during victorious moments, so it's like the meme. Whereas like so for this one, maybe you feel a bit less like I need to rush and get the soundtrack.
Yeah.
As you do perhaps with Murray Gold.
Oh, I want it already though.
But it's still good.
It's kind of mood music, really, rather than
which
like
is my type of thing.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you'd wake up to in the morning, isn't it?
I'm less gonna like, as I did when I'm the Doctor started, put it on and pretend to be the Doctor around the living room.
Yeah.
Like, it's less that vibe.
It's more just
chill beats.
Yeah, I think the closest thing you've got to a tune like that is the Doctor's theme.
There's definitely a theme.
It's very clear that the Doctor's got a theme, but beyond
But
that,
at the same time, that doesn't feel like the
It's not
things that
intrusive.
we've had previously.
Yeah.
It's still just sort of blending with those scenes, but there is a bit of magical.
It's
sort
it's
of,
very magical.
wonderful effects, just
All throughout, like the crashing across the
crashing
ship,
stuff.
it was
Yeah.
incredible.
like action, like
Or the shot of when they jettison half of the ship, the way that happens in
You
that
see
moving
it,
shot, and you just see it floating off.
Yeah.
This stuff is so well done, and I've never seen it in Doctor Who
and the
before.
TARDIS effect is
As
again,
Victorian,
yeah,
I like it too,
they've
I like
it.
given it
3D,
something.
Is that to do with it kind of sinking back up? because
Yes,
it's
I think
dimensionally-
probably.
Because the way it leaves, though, is a little different to how it has.
Yeah.
Nice little puff
Yeah.
of smoke at the bottom there.
Sort of lifts it.
So far, Yaz is the weakest link,
Yeah.
and that's unfortunate. There's glimmers of stuff still. I think there was more for her to do in episode 1.
It might just be the pressure of that many characters, especially in a show that's Doctor Who that has to have guest characters as well.
Yeah,
So it had to have the two.
but but would you not think when you're planning something like this that you wouldn't do that?
Yeah, it should be paced better, perhaps.
Yeah.
So knowing that she's not a lot in episode 1, episode 2 perhaps should have been more focused on her.
Yeah,
But
presumably.
yeah.
Next week, come on, Chris.
There's a hint that it could be.
Yeah.
I think.
It did make me laugh when she finally blows up the ribbons. She's like, "We did it, teamwork," and Yaz was the only one who didn't do anything.
There wasn't even a shot of her.
No.
Oh,
that's the
God.
advantage of having just close-ups. You can hide Yaz going.
So I think the thing that the series really needs to do is just occasionally just pull the camera back, and then we're going for it, and then we're back again.
Well, it does go. I think what's weird about it is I feel like it's a mix of real close-ups and real long shots.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
There's no
like
drone
drone shots.
in between.
Yeah.
There's
isn't
like
it?
drone shots and wide
It's
shots.
we can either have full body drone shots, or we can have right in their face.
Yeah.
These are
Like,
two.
you can see those nasal hairs.
Yeah.
There's very few mid shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much of an agenda on display.
No. Is that even worth spending time talking about?
I just think it's interesting.
Oh, you
to
mean
know.
okay?
Yeah, because
That's what you meant at first.
yeah, because I think the fear was that maybe gruff white man would be a bad guy, but actually no, he's just had a real shit past.
Yeah.
Because of his mum.
Yeah.
And
He wasn't even. I mean, he didn't betray them.
No.
At
Yeah.
any point.
he was
didn't-
actually quite. I found him quite endearing at points as well.
Yeah.
Even though he was.
He didn't complain that much.
No,
I
yeah.
thought that he was going to do a whole thing about them using a cigar.
Yeah,
I wanted to smoke that.
Yeah.
But he
Just let it go
Yeah.
because they saved his life and he was
Yeah.
responsible for having the cigar.
I love the two trailers.
Yes.
Back to back.
Yeah, the fact that we had the trailer after the credits, and John was like, "Oh, they're not giving much away, are they?" And then immediately another trailer played.
It's like,
And it was-
that's you told John.
Why are they two trailers right next to each other? I'm not going to complain, but
Okay.
it's just a bit bewildering.
Rosa Parks! Rosa Parks! Rosa Parks! Rosa Parks!
I'm honestly not sure how appropriate that was.
We support civil rights, Billy. What's inappropriate about
Why are you sounding sarcastic when you say that? Join us next week when we talk about Rosa.
Yeah, that's the next episode. Written
Yeah.
by Mallory Blackman.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Mm.
Thanks for coming, Phoenix.
You're very welcome.
Hopefully
Will we see you again this series?
I don't know, maybe.
Let's see.
That's
Depends if the TARDIS appears in the title sequence.
Here's a little cliffhanger for this review. Will Phoenix return?
Find out in the future.
Yes, watch all the reviews to find out. I'm a big draw that way.